Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. We are from 6th group from Muhammadiyah Tangerang of University. Today we are going to discuss about a blueprint in the brain. Could any linguistic information conceivably by innate from Chomsky. And before we discuss, allow me to introduce my partner.
My name is Akrimah
And my name is Siti Hardianti. So for first speaker will deliver by Akrimah.
Thank you, JJ. Over 2000 years ago, the Egyptian king had a theory that if a child was assaulted by human speech, the first word he spontaneously uttered would come from the mouth of the inhabitants. Naturally, he hoped this would be Egyptian. While Noam Chomsky claimed that for language acquisition to be possible, a child must be endowed with a rich internal structure, and the biological evidence examined in the last two chapters suggests that his idea cannot be summarily dismissed, because he pointed that he was following in the footsteps of 18th century rationalist philosophers who believed in the existence of innate ideas. For the next chapter, Chomsky's early ideas, LED and LES. Chomsky started out with the basic assumption that anybody who acquires a set of rules of underlying principle for forming speech pattern. The person who has acquired knowledge of a language internalize a system of rules that relate sound and meaning in a particular way. By Chomsky, 1970 to page 26. So let us first consider how a linguist deals with this unknown language situation. Start by finding simple sounds like tree and nouns. Learning a few dozen vocabulary items is relatively simple, as is clear from the ease which the chimps also managed to do this, and Jenny, the Californian teenager, discussed in chapter 4, found the acquisition of vocabulary easy. The child must have some extra knowledge at his disposal. It can be knowledge about any particular language because baby learn a language with equal ease. For example, Chinese baby brought up in England will learn English as easily as an English baby in China will learn Chinese. Said Chomsky consists of language universal. Children learn language so fast and efficiently because they know in outline what language looks like.
And so they know what is and what is not a possible language. All they have to discover is which language they are being exposed to, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Chomsky at one time assumed that every sentence had an inner hidden deep structure and outer manifest surface structure. So the grammar of English will generate
for each sentence a deep structure will be content rules showing how this deep structure is related a surface structure. The rule expressing the relation of deep and surface structure are called grammatical transformation. According to Chomsky, the hypothesis making device linguistic, universal, and perhaps an evolution procedure continue and innately endow language acquisition device or language acquisition system for boys and last for girls, and this special remain. Youngsters will know that there will constraint on the way in which deep structure could be altered by transformational rules. They will be automatically aware of some quite complex constraints on rearrangement possibilities. For example, Ignatius has stolen a pig. So if we want to ask which pig was involved, we would normally bring the praise about the pig to the front. Like which pig has Ignatius stolen? But if we suppose the original sentence had been Angela knows who has stolen a pig, and it would then be impossible to bring the pig face to the front, we could not say which pig Angela knows who has stolen. And for next chapter will be explained by Siti Hardianti. Time is yours.
Thank you, Iim.
Yeah.
Chomsky later views setting switches. How logical do children acquire language when they don't have enough information at their disposal to do so? And children are born quiet with universal grammar, or we call it UG. UG is characterization of this innate, biologically determined participle which consists one component of the human mind and language faculty. So this is from Chomsky, 1986, page 24. So for example, one model might specify which item could be moved and how far as with the word who, which can be moved to front of the sentence. For example, who did Sebastian say observed it? So another might contain information as to how to interpret a sentence such as Sebastian said Osbert with him instead of himself. Why may think of UG as intercellary structure system? Because the system is associated with the finite as switches, each of which has a finite number of positions. And for the principle applicable to all language, the second layer, which was only particularly wired in, for example, one might talk to temperature and air pressure as being parameter of the atmosphere. So in language, the parameter is the property of language whose value could vary from language to language. So this is once the value of the parameter said, the whole system is operative. And next point is paring it down still further. Chomsky tried to be like a biologist who no longer looked in turn at the human heart, then a human elbow, but instead aimed to understand the body is whole, his part down version return basic switch settings. Page 109. The lexicon fit into the compositional system, which check the word combination fit with the basic principle. And for the example, the short-term move, if one of the two chunks of the structure needs to be moved, then the one which move least for must be selected. For example, Vanilla assured Alphonse to buy a green parrot. So this is suppose you want to check who was the pressure and what was both Vanilla pressure who to buy what. So for WH word, if we want to make a question, we have to put WH word in front of the sentence. So this become the what did Vanilla pressure who to buy. And for M, that's all that we discussed today. And thank you so much for listening. And goodbye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.